fall of Bashar al-Assad will forever change the Middle East and reshape the region's balance of power. Assad's regime withstood more than a decade of uprisings, civil war and international sanctions since the onset of widespread protests in 2011. Yet it collapsed in a blink and in a sudden turn of events, with the opposition advancing without any significant resistance or any opposition. Several Arab nations and regional powers are now assessing the fallout and its broader implications. The dramatic development signals a reshuffling of power dynamics in the region. It also raises questions about Syria's future and the role of its neighbors and the global stakeholders in managing the post-Assad landscape. Now, the swift fall of Assad regime has profound implications for the major players in the Middle East. Many believe that this entire offensive could not have happened without the support of Turkey, which could also be the kingmaker. The Sunni rebel forces, with strong Turkish backing, capitalized on a moment of vulnerability in Syria. The Assad regime's main allies were preoccupied, like Russia, with its ongoing war in Ukraine, and Iran and its proxies with their ongoing conflict with Israel. This provided a strategic opportunity for the rebels to advance swiftly across Syria to the capital, Damascus. With the victory of its Syrian opposition allies, Turkey is expected to expand its political and military influence in Syria. But Erdogan would also like to see more than 3 million Syrian refugees head home. Iran, in fact, will be the most affected, receiving a significant blow to its influence. Syria under Assad was part of a connection between Iranians and Hezbollah, and it was key for the transfer of weapons and ammunition to the group. Hezbollah, Iran's main proxy, has been severely weakened after its year-long war with Israel, and its future remains uncertain. The involvement of Hezbollah in the Syrian civil war has been very unpopular both inside Syria and Lebanon, with the latter hosting over 1.5 million Syrian refugees. Another Iranian-supported faction, the Houthis in Yemen, have also been repeatedly targeted in airstrikes. All these factions, plus militias in Iraq and Hamas in Gaza, form what Tehran describes as the axis of resistance, which now has been seriously damaged. Iran's regional influence has also been severely diminished, leaving it more vulnerable to direct conflict with Israel. In fact, Israel is going to be strategically in a strong position. Syria was an important geographical link that allowed Iran to move weapons and other supplies to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Its loss now further weakens Hezbollah, whose powerful arsenal in southern Lebanon had put Iranian influence directly on the border of its nemesis Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called Assad's fall a historic day, saying that it was, quote-unquote, the direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. But Israel will also face a Syria that's highly unpredictable and where Islamist groups But Israel will also face a Syria that's highly unpredictable and where Islamist groups could assume a prominent role.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its oppression.
For Iraq and Lebanon, this instability could only worsen their fragile political and economic situations. Now that the Assad regime has finally collapsed, the Iraqi militias face a dilemma. One issue is that the militias may lose out on the lucrative trade of smuggling Iran's arms to Hezbollah, and they could lose influence in Syria. These militias relied on a network of places to secure their route to Hezbollah. From Iran's deteriorating influence in the Middle East to a new neighboring government, Iraq will have a lot to grapple with. As far as Russia is concerned, Syria was Russia's main partner in the region for decades. When the Syrian rebels were threatening Assad's government in 2015, the Russian Air Force heavily bombed rebel areas and helped secure Assad hold on to power. Russia places great value on the naval base and the air base that it has on Syria's Mediterranean coast. They are Russia's only military bases in the Middle East, and now they too are very much at risk. For the United States, Assad's collapse helps counter terrorism, curb Iranian influence, and promote stability in the Middle East. The fall of the Assad regime presents an opportunity to address these long-standing issues in Syria and the rest of the region. The US administration now must adopt a balanced and strategic approach focusing on inclusive governance, humanitarian support, and regional stability. It also presents an opportunity and moment for all the other Gulf nations to reshape the region's future rather than take impulsive decisions. Because no matter what follows in Syria now, the implication of Bashar al-Assad's departure will reverberate throughout the region.